because it doesn't matter how many books you read, how many podcasts you hear. If you don't put it into action, it doesn't matter.
We can be friendly, but we don't have to be their friend. Having a friend and making them your employee is a very rough way to start a work relationship.
Everyone is replaceable. You need to understand this. Even we are replaceable as well. So if someone is not doing their job, just let them know.
How to go from being a friend to being a boss. In this episode, I want to talk about how our leadership has evolved greatly from when we first started to now. So we just held our quarterly reviews yesterday, and this is what kind of sparked this topic in my brain, because what we are doing now is so different than when we began. And I just want to start from the beginning, like getting out of school. You're learning how to become a doctor. You're learning how to run a business. You have zero knowledge on how to lead a team or staff or do anything that involves employees. And I think it's a really important skill set to develop, and it does evolve. I'm not saying we've arrived by any means. We're still not amazing leaders just yet, but we are definitely much better than when we started. So when we first opened our doors, we had one staff, and we were basically friends with her, and we had met her at the local CrossFit gym. And she was awesome. I have no bad things to say about her. It's just that the relationship from the start, having a friend and making them your employee, is a very rough way to start a work relationship, I'll say. And so a lot of the ways that I was leading her was just like, hey, yeah, no big deal. If you can get this done, get it done. If not, it's okay. Versus like being a little bit more rigid and hard on her and having expectations and boundaries. Because we would invite her over to the house and we'd have lunch and we'd be like, hey, here's what I'm thinking for like marketing, whatever. And none of it, that is like a bad thing. It's just the intention behind it. She never missed a day. She was never late, but it was that the relationship was way too close and intimate as friends to make it a good growing leadership relationship, if that makes sense. Fast forward to now, I feel like we do a lot better job of setting boundaries, of leading from a place of like, hey, we are the business owners and this is where we want the business to grow. And either you're on the train with us or you're not. And we can be friendly, but we don't have to be their friend. Mm-hmm. So I just want to talk a little bit about that. And maybe if you have some advice for somebody who has never led team or has never been in like a management position, what sorts of books or podcasts would you listen to, read, to try to kind of step into a leadership position?
Yeah, I wish we had the recordings of the meetings when we open and compare it with the one of yesterday. And it's like a big difference. Yeah. We should definitely do that next time and just put it publicly and like just delete the names. Yeah. But it would be good to like, people will benefit from that actually. So that'll be fun. So yeah, for me, the biggest thing is expectations. Yeah. Putting expectations on the people. A lot of people look at me like I could be like a bad human being when I'm dealing with people, but it's not like these are the expectations. If you meet them, we'll be on the good side. If you don't meet them, like I'm not going to see you every morning because you're not going to be working here anymore. So expectations is a big one. I think that one you're a little softer, right? Like you let loose, but I think you're getting harder there though. Yeah. You're definitely like, and you made a big change on that because I think it was harder from a female, same age, you know, like the same things. I think it's harder rather than from me. I'm like, I'm ready to go home. Like, let's get it done. Yeah. And I see the time that it consumes you because having staff is not easy. So I'm seeing it from the other side. I'm never on evaluations or anything until yesterday because that's your thing. But I see how it drains you when people are not doing their job, how it drains you when people text you with things that they're not supposed to text you. So then I see that, and that's why I was like, I want to sit there and see how everything goes, how the expectations go. And I think it was great sitting there, honestly, like just seeing you communicate with them. You're pretty good in that aspect of like listening to them, because sometimes I was ready to say like, dude, shut up, like let me talk and like get out, like go for lunch. But you're pretty good in listening, and then like you hear it, you repeat it, and then you like, okay, but this is what I want. You know, this is what we're gonna do. So just setting expectations, but with that, it needs to come as well training. So you cannot set, that's what we were doing in one point. At first, we were pretty loose. Then second, we learned the expectations thing. So we put expectations, but we didn't train. And I think when we combine training with expectations is what we have right now.
Yes.
So that took us around 3 to 4 years to get it. Like our partner says that all the time to us, but it's not the same saying it, hearing it, to putting it together, because it's not as easy as it sounds. Being a leader of a lot of staff, we're like 10 overall or 12. It's not easy. It's hard, super hard. And especially having a lot of females together.
Yes.
Because yesterday you were getting the ins of everyone, and like, what would you like, something that you would like to change, or what do you think about the leadership team? And the leadership team is there, we're on a rounded table, and like they just spit out and say like, hey, I don't like this of you because this and this, you're doing this and I don't like it. So it's kind of like, okay, thank you for bringing it up, but I want to have the openness of just talking about that every day. And I think you and I have brought that to them, and they feel pretty comfortable saying it on the moment.
Yes.
And that is something super good, because one of the staff came and said, okay, so open floor, what do you want? And she's like, I tell you guys whenever it happens. So there's nothing. I'm like, great, that is true. Yep. I appreciate that.
So that is one of the main things, I think the biggest changes that we've made is opening the floor and fostering an environment of transparency and openness and honesty, even when it's a tough conversation or it's not necessarily what we want to hear. In the past, when we first opened, we did a lot of sugarcoating and like, you're doing so great.
Because you don't want to lose them.
You're doing,
you're like, I don't want to lose them. But right now, especially in your pregnancy, you're in the mentality of like,
I don't give a crap.
I don't care. I'll
care.
fire you and I'll have someone else here tomorrow already. And if we don't have anyone, I'll just sit here and do your job. It doesn't matter. And that's how you need to think about it. Like, everyone is replaceable. Yeah. Everyone is replaceable. You need to understand this. Even we are replaceable as well. So if someone is not doing their job, just let them know. Don't even give them 3 strikes. Just give them 2 strikes. Because if you don't like that person, if you don't like seeing that person every morning, why do you have them working with you? And that is something you and I have talked a lot about. Like, if I don't like this person, why is that person coming every single morning to the same environment I'm in, change my energy, change my mood, affects the care of everyone?
Yeah. We were operating initially too out of such fear of like, oh my gosh, if we lose our front desk, like, what are we going to do? Then I have to be at front desk and I won't be able to see patients. And it's like, now we're just like, okay, if somebody leaves or if we have to fire them, we can get somebody in right away, and we've got the systems and processes to get them trained up, and we're good to go. Like, it's no longer a fear in my mind of if somebody leaves. Sure, it would hurt. Sure, it wouldn't be fun stepping in, and we'd have to distribute tasks, and like more people would have to step up. But we're just at a place of like, if you are hurting the culture or the energy of the office, you have to go. And that is such a different mindset that we've taken on than when we first started operating out of like a scarcity of, oh my gosh, I need this person. This person has to be here. Who's going to answer the phone? And now we're just like, literally anybody else can do that job.
To answer your question about podcasts or books, none. It will be the answer, none. Because it doesn't matter how many books you read, how many podcasts you hear. If you don't put it into action, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So I think my biggest advice is basically expectations and training. Or you could put training and then expectations. Just mix them together. And based on that, you can be a great leader. And walk the walk. If you are telling someone to do something, you have to do it. Yeah. You cannot expect something from someone when you're not acting that way. So, for me, it's like staff has seen me clean the toilet. So if I ask them, hey, can you please clean the toilet? They're going to do it because they've seen me do it. Totally. So just get dirty, do the things, and people will follow you.
Another thing about leadership I want to bring up, because I've gotten this question lately, is like, I got this from a close person in my life. They said, hey, I just noticed like our front desk, she's like not meeting her expectations. And it's like, she's doing her job, but she's not going above and beyond. And I'm like, okay, whenever there's a problem with staff, now I've trained my mind to, I'm not going to look at their problems. I'm going to look at myself. Where did I go wrong in training and leading them? And where did I not set a boundary or expectation that this person now has no clarity to follow? So a lot of the times what I told this person was, actually, I think you need to make sure that there's clarity between the two of you to understand, does she even know that she's supposed to take initiative? What incentives does she have to take initiatives? If she is literally just clocking in from 9 to 5 and she's getting paid X amount for her job, why would she want to go above and beyond? Like, that's actually not, that might not be her job unless you've made it very clear, hey, if you do this extra marketing thing, or if you find an extra patient, I'm going to give you a bonus of XYZ or time off or whatever. Like, this person, and what it came down to, they had a one-on-one meeting. The person didn't even know that she was expected to go above and beyond. And I think that's the biggest thing as leaders that we've learned is we need complete clarity between both parties of here's my expectations for you. Now, what are your expectations of me so we can be on the same page? Yeah. And that was a big thing in our quarterly reviews yesterday was, to your point, we just read the book Radical Candor. And so we're trying to be a lot more open and transparent and candid with each other. And I said, here's your moment. Like, this is your floor. This is the time to tell the leadership team what we could do better to improve so that we can improve your experience as an employee, as a staff. And they were totally transparent and honest. And it was really tough to have those conversations, but so needed to clear the air at the same time. And I told every single person, I never want you to wait for a quarterly review, for an annual review, for an employee check-in to feel like you have to tell me these things. In the book, her thing is like, this idea of radical candor doesn't happen at these one-on-one meetings, at your meetings with your direct reports, or at your staff meetings. It should be in the day-to-day conversation. It should be, oh, I saw Dr. Alejandro mess up. I'm going to tell him in that moment or when it's an appropriate time, urgently, that he messed up. Until waiting, whatever. So you're like bottling things and writing things down. Like, no, tell them in the moment, so that you can correct it in the moment. And that's one of the biggest shifts that we've made for sure as leaders.
That's been great, honestly. Just, if you mess up, say it on the moment. Yeah. So if you have any question, reach out. It doesn't matter how many books, how many podcasts you've read. If you don't put it into action, it's not going to serve you. And don't forget to go to pathttovictorychiro.com.